So I've gotten this from a bunch of people. Friends of the show, friends of my other show, from a school in Greenwich, Connecticut. Essentially, this is it. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Important Grownups Day. Dear second grade families, in keeping with the spirit of celebrating our diverse community of learners, we have decided to shift our thinking about Mother's Day and Father's Day. These holidays no longer serve who we are, and rather than finding a way to fit ourselves into their boxes, we have decided to make a change. Beginning this year, the second grade students will be celebrating Important Grownups Day in between Mother's Day and Father's Day. They will be provided with school time to make something special for all of the grown-ups they believe are important in their lives. We will, of course, discuss some of the grown-ups they may want to choose. If you have any questions or concerns about this, please email your child's classroom teacher. Thank you in advance for understanding this. Second grade families.
You know, I thought it was progressive that our town got rid of the daddy-daughter dance, but to eliminate Mother's Day and Father's Day from the universe of things that happen in children's lives seems pretty incredible to me. Do some children not have mothers and fathers?
Sure.
Okay, but so they're going to celebrate Trans Day of Visibility, even though not all the kids are trans, right?
Right.
So why can't they celebrate Mother's Day, even though not all the children have mothers? Aren't we just celebrating differences then?
Well, it's not inclusive.
Well, is Trans Day of Visibility inclusive to non-trans people?
I think so, because they are
because we are also invited to celebrate the trans
people are under attack constantly, and so we have to make safe spaces for them in our lives. I assume, which is what we're doing here.
I think that the schools are high on something, and that they're out of their minds, and that I can't imagine, you know, we've talked a little bit about how our school district and plenty of other school districts in our state and in our country and everywhere have lost a lot of students this year, and it's impacting in a lot of ways their funding, because parents are fed up and frustrated, right? Like we saw this happen in Virginia, where, you know, essentially the race in Virginia for the governorship became a race about the school districts, about COVID policy in the schools, about critical race theory in the schools, about gender ideology in the schools, about teachers' unions running the schools, you know, about all these issues. And we've seen parents pull their kids from the schools. Our school district here had an 8% drop in enrollment over the last 2 years. That has a huge impact on funding, right? And not only does it have an impact on funding, but it has an impact on people being invested in what happens there. And decisions like this absolutely impact this. You know, don't you think that our school district veering towards like getting rid of the daddy-daughter dance and getting rid of all the things that make school fun and make it feel like you're a part of a community and you're doing things that are, you know, reinforcing a sense that we're a part of the community and that the community values our family life and our differences, doesn't it make it seem as though, you know, we don't have a vested interest in being in this school district? I know that things like that impacted my decision not to send our kids back.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I would think...
You know, if our school district turned around and said, we're not going to celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day, do you think that would make me more likely or less likely to send our kids there?
You know, there was a mother who took her daughter to the daddy-daughter dance when I was there. Mm-hmm. And my assumption was that daddy either wasn't around or couldn't make it, and mommy was stepping up, and that was cool.
Yeah, or probably some grandfathers go and things like that. I mean, people find other ways, and nobody was like mean or said they couldn't. Everybody's inclusive. Nobody's being mean to anybody. It's incredible.
At the daddy-daughter dance, they were with her mom because there's this set of twins, and they had lost their father, and so they went like each with one with their mom and the other one with their grandpa.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So now that daddy-daughter dance is over, is it called something else? I don't ask too loud, just in case.
I think there's like an inclusive, like, come with your favorite adult day or something stupid like that too. Because there used to be a daddy-daughter dance and mother-son bowling were the things, but now there's not. So nobody can have anything anymore. We have to take stuff away. It's like the getting rid of Good Friday, getting rid of Halloween. We have to take everything off the school calendar. Somehow being inclusive always seems to mean getting rid of stuff that are important parts of people's like culture and sense of community. Isn't that weird how that happens? It always seems to end up like devaluing parenthood, devaluing women, devaluing, it's incredible to me because motherhood is important, and it's the celebration of womanhood as for some reason being about abortion instead of being about motherhood is somewhat shocking to me, because it just creates such a contrast, right? We're getting rid of Mother's Day, and by the way, what is womanhood really about? Womanhood is really about being able to have abortions. That's what it's really about. Like, it just seems so dark and macabre. Like, I don't get it. And I'm not saying that being a mother is all there is to being a woman, but it sure is a key part of what, causes women's experiences in the world to be different than men's, So
I tweeted about somebody who was saying, I want to save girls of the future. I responded by saying, this ruling will save the lives of many girls of the future. I think that is good. Speaking about, possibly little aborted girls, and it either will or won't. Who really knows? But here's the thing: it probably won't. Actually, everything will probably come out even, but who knows? So Matt Chiliak, who is the campaign manager for Seth Moulton, got back to me and responded to me and said, it will literally kill women who would no longer be able to access abortion services. These women exist now, currently, and not in just some Gilead-like future you fantasize about. So I didn't want to ask Matt because I didn't want to give him the opportunity, but what is Gilead like?
That's the country in Handmaid's Tale.
Oh! Oh!
Meanwhile, the independent .ie, which I guess is Ireland, which is this Irish publication, ran this article today. We are pregnant. Brian Dowling and partner Arthur Grunlian announced they're expecting first child. Brian Dowling and his partner Arthur.
Who's Brian Dowling?
Apparently he's a Dancing with the Stars judge in Ireland.
Okay.
And his husband is a Big Brother star.
And they're pregnant?
I guess they're pregnant. Brian Dowling and his partner Arthur have announced that they're expecting their first child. The couple shared a video on their grid and wrote, "It completely fills our heart to be able to reveal that we are pregnant, and we are due to our beautiful bundle of joy later this year. We fully realize and understand how lucky and blessed we are for this to be happening. For a lot of us out there, and especially people from our community, we have to fight harder and push harder for what others consider to be something that can be achieved easily. We've been keeping the biggest secret the past few months, but it's put the biggest smile in our hearts and on our faces." So they're pregnant. Congratulations to them. So we're in crazy land where there's no such thing as Mother's Day. Two men can be pregnant, and we're not supposed to ask how or talk about any woman who might possibly be involved in the process in any way because she's not really there. Pete and Jason can take pictures in the hospital bed with their little hospital bracelets on to make pretend. But the people who can actually get pregnant, we're going to make sure that they can get unpregnant as easily and quickly as possible, because that's what's very important for them to do, is not be pregnant at any time. Like, the contrast just blows me away. And I find the whole thing happening near Mother's Day to be, like, especially offensive and bizarre. This, like, push to define womanhood as having to do with abortion.
The projection is so incredible. They actually looked at The Handmaid's Tale as so real to think, wait, you know what? The people who don't want there to be protections for babies who are developing later in the womb, those are the bad guys making that happen. So wait a second, Tom Shattuck here was looking to save people in the second and third trimester. What he really means goes right past that point. What he really means is Handmaid's Tale. Because me and my friends in Cambridge Lofts all watched it, so he must watch it too. Gilead.
It's weird because
I assumed that Gilead was like something, one of the classics for for Homer or something.
No, they have their references that they have are Harry Potter, The Handmaid's Tale, Star Wars. Anything I'm missing? I don't know. Nothing more profound than any of that. But it's funny because you know what's
not
more.
Not only this guy mentions The Handmaid's Tale, and thinks he's got a flourish. Mm-hmm. This campaign director for a United States congressman.
Yeah.
But of course he's got a Ukrainian flag as well. This is how the major humanitarian crimes that have cost the lives of millions. Guys with tiny brains like this freaking pansy is how that happens.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because, you know, nothing is more Handmaid's Tale like than rich couples buying babies from poor women, because that's like the whole concept of the Handmaid's Tale is they have like a class of birthing people that they force to have children for the rich couples. So it seems to me that the whole surrogacy, like the gay couples saying that they're pregnant, is more like the Handmaid's Tale than anything any Republican has proposed. No one has proposed breeding poor people to create children for rich people except wealthy pro-gay liberals. That's the only place where that's happening in our culture right now. So I don't really understand. If I were them, I wouldn't be so quick to start comparing things to The Handmaid's Tale in a negative light, because it seems to me that they've left themselves like a little bit open to that. But I don't know. You mentioned Ukraine. The news today on Ukraine is that you know how the Ukrainians like sank that big warship thing, the Moskva, and it's come out, U.S. intelligence, I assume, leaked it, that was done using U.S. intelligence.
You think U.S. intelligence leaked it? By the way, it's a New York Times story, I think. And
yeah, so I mean, I assume someone did. I'm sure they must have confirmed.
Somewhat escalatory?
I would say so. I would say that, but I think you know, Biden and other progressive hacks working in our government and probably in the intelligence agencies want to show that we're supporting Ukraine, because that's the thing, right? You know, so I think they want to show like, look, we helped them with, which everybody in their right mind knew that Ukraine isn't winning this war against Russia without massive help from the U.S., not just financial, not just giving them weapons, but also, I mean, we're definitely sharing intelligence with them. But for the New York Times to be able to confirm that from whatever sources they confirmed it to, I mean, they're saying according to U.S. officials. So somebody confirmed this to them, apparently. And
so maybe the idea is to sow.
But it seems to me that was something that made Putin really, really mad. So saying like, yeah, we did that seems a little bit like, yeah, like you said, escalatory.
And I assume, you know, I had Lise Wheel on yesterday, and we just talked about the intelligence. She wrote this thing about Robert Hansen, the famous spy, etc. And the way this stuff works in double agents and triple agents, etc. You know, this guy, Robert Hansen, gave away the IDs of Soviet informants for money. And these informants were obviously Soviet double agents, sometimes triple agents, and they were all playing games as well. But you've got to think that at this point that there is so much distrust in Russian leadership right now for each other, how information's getting out. We're obviously giving these Ukrainians excellent intel. We've obviously I mean, why? Of course, the Soviets are a kleptocracy, and these are people who have had. The Russians have had a tough last 25 years.
Right.
From
There's
Yeltsin
a lot
down.
of very transactional people over there.
Exactly. So the American dollar, or whatever we use to grease people over there, I assume we are just greasing like you've never heard before. Mm-hmm. But I mean, no doubt. I mean, this is.
But it's asking for trouble. It's asking for trouble to be leaking it to the New York Times.
But else, I mean, at this point, yes, it's asking for trouble unless we feel that this guy unless we have some reason to believe they're not going to use nukes, because there's a chance that the Ukrainians could take Crimea back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real non-zero chance now that they could take back the Russians. Everything. It's like when Israel was attacked in '67 or whenever they were attacked from 8 different sides and took a whole bunch of land from everybody. It's like this is going catastrophically badly,
right,
for the Russians. And they can take in a month a steel factory in Mariupol, but my God, this is bad news for them.
Yeah, it's not great, but I also don't know. I don't know if the U.S. taking credit for it is a great idea, just on the world stage. I mean, I understand the urge coming from whoever's involved in the administration right now who's doing this, but because nothing is going well for the Biden administration. Today was a disaster day for the Biden administration. We had the stock market completely plummet. That's not good news. It's a mess. Right. The inflation's going to continue. I know that it fell because the Federal Reserve announced the steps they were going to take to combat inflation, but it's going to take time to do that. The producer price index is still high. We're not going to see this go away. The Biden administration announced that they're going to have to start buying oil again soon to refill the strategic oil reserves.
I hadn't heard that.
So, because what happens if you use up your strategic oil reserves to try and make a temporary politically motivated impact on oil prices, which you can't really do because it's not even enough oil to impact it. What happens is that you then just shift your demand forward in time because you're going to have to refill those reserves. So now they're going to put more price pressure on oil because they're going to be buying more oil on the world stage and creating more demand, which is going to drive prices up even higher than they would have been before. So, hooray, we're back.
And he's not going to do... They do so much badly.
They do everything wrong. They really do everything wrong.
And they're stubborn and obtuse, so they don't want to go back. They're not going to restart the Keystone Pipeline going.
Of course not.
They're not going to. Even though that would be a step in the right direction, and possibly for the futures market, that might be something that might be interesting. That and all the other things that they could, the federal land grants they could open.
Just make people feel like you're trying a little bit.
You would, but they can't because all they have left is the base. That's it. And if the base doesn't catch on fire because of abortion, because we're in a new Gilead, then they're screwed.
And I think it's going to depend what's going to happen with the ultimate Supreme Court decision that's handed down. It's not clear that they're truly going to completely gut road. They might leave the Mississippi decision, the Mississippi law, but have a softer decision than this one that got passed around or released. It's possible that the decision that they're going to come out with is nothing like this one that was leaked. Kavanaugh or Roberts might have had a hand in softening it, or maybe this was the maximalist position. They told Alito, write the most extreme one, and then we'll write one that's way over here that Robert wants to have, and then we'll mash them together and see what we end up with. We don't know what's going to be the final outcome here. And so with this one that was leaked, if they don't have an extreme enough reaction now, I don't know what that's going to do for them in November. I don't know, because they risk just terribly, terribly overstepping here. The calls to pack the court, the calls to get rid of the filibuster, you have people on Twitter saying that somebody should kill Alito and Thomas. And that it's a trolley problem because they're old and it would save so many women's lives.
What's a trolley problem? Is another one.
The trolley problem.
In the freaking handmade sale.
The trolley problem is like, when the trolley's going down the track and it's going to kill 5 people on one track and 1 person on the other track, and you do like which way should you make it go? Because then you're responsible for killing the 1 person. It's like these types of things. Like, should you save 1 life on purpose to save 5 lives? That kind of thing, right? And I mean, there's variations on it, whatever. But so there's legitimately people saying that. There's activists publishing the home addresses of the Supreme Court justices.
So just about moving forward, these activists posted a map with the home addresses of the Supreme Court justices. Is that the kind of thing this president wants to help your side make their point?
Look, I think the president's view is that there's a lot of passion, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness from many, many people across this country about what they saw in that leaked document. We obviously want people's privacy to be respected. We want people to protest peacefully if they want to protest. That is certainly what the president's view would be.
So he doesn't care.
Go to the Capitol. Just be peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
If they're protesting outside the Supreme Court or outside someone's private residence.
I don't have an official U.S. government position on where people protest. We want it, of course, to be peaceful. And certainly the president would want people's privacy to be respected. But I think we shouldn't lose the point here. The reason people are protesting is because women across the country are worried about their fundamental rights that have been law for 50 years. Their rights to make choices about their own bodies and their own health care are at risk. That's why people are protesting. They're unhappy.
By the way, who across the country, what across the country are worried about their fundamental rights? Is Psaki a biologist all of a sudden?
Well, but also, it's interesting. The left gets to go out and intimidate around somebody's home because people are upset.
Yeah.
They're upset.
Nobody was upset on January 6th.
No, nobody was upset then. That was an insurrection. How could they be upset?
I literally cannot. I cannot. Jen Psaki, by the way, May 13th, she's done being the press secretary.
Yeah. She was always going to be a short timer. She said that from the beginning.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Thank you, Jen. Sorry to see you go.
Are you?
Yes, and you've always been a good sport.
Thank you.
So
As
on
have you.
behalf of everybody, thank you
Thank
for
you.
everything.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see you up there, Kareem.
There we go.
So it's a historic day. It's a historic day. The Biden administration is trying to steal some headlines back from all the bad news and claim a little history. So do you realize why it's historic?
It's the second black woman to be a press secretary?
No, she's the first black person and the first openly gay woman to become White House press secretary.
I see. Because Bush had a black woman do the job. But openly gay, so it's even more. But,
yeah, openly gay. It's historic.
I'm not. I mean, obviously, that kind of thinking has proved disastrous for us.
Her domestic partner, by the way, is a CNN national correspondent who used to be a White House correspondent.
Who?
Karine Jean-Pierre's wife.
Okay. Who's the correspondent?
It's what's her name? Suzanne
Malveaux,
yeah.
Wow.
So that's our partner.
Good for them.
11-year age difference, by the way.
Oh, very nice. So I will say this about Psaki. She always gave Ducey a bunch of shots at her, to her credit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, is she soulless? Sure. And I don't think she was the best at what she did. Actually, no. I think she's in part reason why the administration is doing so badly, because the messaging is always a gaslighting, always mean girly. If you ask her, even
Psaki
friendly
bomb,
right? Even friendly people. So I don't know.
Some of these justices have young kids. Their neighbors are not all public figures. So would the president think about waving off activists that want to go into residential neighborhoods in Virginia and Maryland?
Peter, look, I think our view here is that peaceful protest, there's a long history in the United States and the country of that.
So where are people supposed to protest? Because I know it's not at the Capitol, unless you're appointing Brett Kavanaugh. And I know that it's not at people's homes unless you're a mean Supreme Court Justice or Tucker Carlson.
Well, I don't know if you've seen, but there are huge fences around the Supreme Court now.
Yeah. And those went up after the suicide guy. The climate suicide guy. Yeah.
I don't think that's why they put those up, Alice.
They put barricades up there recently because of that.
I don't think that's why these ones are up there. I think these
all
ones are up there because for the same reason there weren't ones up there like that for January 6th. Because they don't want somebody to get into the Supreme Court.
Well, we'll see what happens. And they're, obviously saying that we should definitely not be upset that this got leaked or worry about the identity of the leaker at all. And the more they insist that, the more it makes me think we should definitely check into who it was that leaked this and, see what's up. Because, if it's a clerk or a justice, that's a really big deal. A really big deal.
I'm sure it is.
So, anyway, but, yeah, a lot of people talking today about what a historic day it is. So, Yamishe, who's buddies with Suzanne Malveaux, said that Karine Jean-Pierre is making huge history as the first Black person and the first openly gay woman to become White House press secretary.
What a bunch of empty skull dolts. Can you imagine? Oh, can we get all the firsts out of the way and all the identity hires out of the way, so then we can say, at some point we all say, okay, is everybody satisfied? We've done well. Okay, everybody's fine. Okay, good. Yamisha, you're fired. You suck at this. April Ryan, you're fired. You suck at this. Jim Acosta, you suck at this. You can go too. And just go down the line and just fire the people who suck now. It's like, jeez, I'm so freaking... the only thing, I was happy to see the Chappelle video. Have you seen the whole video? I was going to play it, but I lost it.
No, I didn't watch the video.
There's a whole bunch of new video now that shows like the imbroglio, etc.
Yeah.
And Dave gets in there at one point. I think at one point, Jamie Foxx, I think, got in. Everybody got to beat this guy a little bit. And I've got no problem with it. I've got no problem with it.
I'm glad it brings you joy, honey. Yeah. I'm happy for you.
I get no problem with it. And
I'm happy for you.
Chappelle put his mic down so he could go in and kick the guy in the head. And he talked about beating him down. And then Chappelle's he tells his guys, people are saying, what's going on? What's going on? He tells his guys, enough, not on stage, not on stage.
Doesn't take it somewhere where there aren't cameras.
It is, this guy chose the wrong night in the wrong comic. Choose your spots. Man, don't choose guys who... It's just funny.
I would think a lot of comics probably stepped up their security after the Chris Rock thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure Chris Rock didn't say... I can't believe there wasn't better security at the Oscars.
Yeah, well, Will Smith just got to sit right back down. That's it.
Seems incredible to me. Seems incredible to me. Have you ever heard of Eli Stokols?
No.
He's the White House reporter for the LA Times. He tweeted today, so this is a White House reporter. Mm-hmm. Biden has now appointed the first Black woman VP, the first Black woman to sit on the SCOTUS, and now, with the promotion of KJP 46, the first Black person White House press secretary. With Black voters frustrated over Biden's inability to make progress on voting rights and police reform, and upset by his fund the police rhetoric, the appointment serves as another reminder that he has followed through on his promise of inclusivity. Sorry, Black voters.
I can't do it, I don't think.
Sorry, Black voters. We're taking away menthol cigarettes. We're criminalizing that. We're coming for you with the police. We have raised your taxes. Everything costs more now. We're making sure it's harder for you to make ends meet and have your household income, meet your needs and be able to buy things at the store. But you know what? Biden appointed a lot of firsts, so lucky you. He's met his promise to you. I hope you're happy. I hope they go with this as a strategy and say things like that on the campaign trail in 2022 and 2024. I really hope they do, because that would that will ensure that it will be the best African-American vote for Republicans in the history of the nation. Well, not in the history of the nation, because obviously the Civil War Republicans, but in modern times. So, yeah, I just found that rhetoric so incredible. So incredible. Do you know who else I found incredible today?
No.
Gina McCarthy at Tufts. Did you see
good.
this?
No.
It's in our thing. I need you to play it because you need to hear her accent today.
All right. Hang on. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, by the way,
they're doubling down on all.
Slight asterisk. J&J vaccine is now not safe. Just FYI, in case you need to know.
That one's not. Yeah, I saw that. It's restricted
Okay,
now. But they're doubling down on all the best policies of the administration, I think.
Where is she? Which one is it?
It's the RNC research tweet. Biden climate advisor Gina McCarthy. She's standing at a podium that says.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on.
We have solutions that can deliver. We're actually going to do 100 rules this year alone on
100 new
appliances.
rules.
Just like you asked.
Appliances.
We are developing partnerships on how we work together for new building standards, even for sustainable airlines. Who'd have thunk that they'd be all in, but they better be or they're going to be out of here. Right? We have
Okay, it's my lunch lady yelling at me. I think we're going to have to duck out early tonight, Alice.
I'm not ready to duck out.
Okay, you can do more talking. I'm dead.
It's a great day. It's a great day. I bet I can make you laugh one more time and spark a little bit of joy for you today. I bet that I can. There was a story in USA Today on what college students expect they're going to make after they graduate, and broken down by their major. So I want you to take a wild guess what journalism students felt they would be making 1 year after graduation.
What they felt they would be making, $75K.
Oh, no. Their expectations are higher than that.
$100K?
Yeah, a little more.
$115?
They expected to be making $107,000 a year after graduating.
Very good. Very good. If maybe on OnlyFans, but not by covering zoning board meetings.
Yes. So on average, the journalism students projected to make $107,000 1 year after graduating, while the average actual salary is $44,000.
Yeah, and I know places where that would be high.
Less. Yes. Surveyed college students overall felt they would be making, I think it was $103,000 on average, and the actual average starting salary is $55,000 a year. So
coming right out of college, you're making $55,000.
one year out.
Okay,
you're making.
Does it have any other occupations or no?
Let's see if it has. Salary projections estimates were mixed. Most fields saw increases. Computer science majors were projected to have an average salary of $75,000 1 year after graduating. Humanities majors average salary of $50,000 a year after graduating.
They thought the humanities majors.
That's what they actually get.
Okay, what did they think they'd get?
It doesn't have
humanities major must think they're really special, so I want this one to be big.
Yeah, well, they all like I said, that total average was 103,000, so it's high. But I do think that the journalism one was especially shocking, that they somehow think they're going to be making that. Let's see if I'm trying to see if it has it broken down everyone by major, but journalism and humanities students have the most unrealistic salary expectations. Computer science only overestimate their starting salary by 27%. So let's see. The humanities and liberal arts students think they're going to be making $105,000 a year after graduating, and they're making $46,000. Whereas journalism feels $107,000. Political science, they feel they're going to be making $108,000.
Oh. And what do they make?
They make $57,000, which seems higher than I would even think. But yeah, ironically, the computer science majors think they're only going to be making $95,000, and they actually make $75,000. So they're like far off. The education majors think they're going to be making $99,000, and
Well,
the actual average is 44,000. Yeah, I think the average teacher's salary in the U.S. now, some of those education majors must do other things because the average teacher's salary in the United States is like over $60,000 a year now. But yeah, they're all incorrect. Mainly, but I thought that would bring you a little joy to think of all the journalism students getting out of college all bright-eyed and hopeful about their fantastic salaries they're about to be getting.
What do I feel about Naomi Wolf?
She's nuts.
Okay.
She's
They're pitching her to me.
By the way, there was a photo that was out of Lara Logan at a party at Mar-a-Lago with Kyle Rittenhouse.
Really?
And she does not look how I remember her looking at all.
No, she's had a lot of work done.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to her, but
What do you mean? She got older. She had a lot of face work done. It was a lot of mistakes because she was really a standout, beautiful.
Yeah, she was really lovely.
She was a standout, beautiful person. She's had just a whole bunch of work done, but we don't...
we don't insult her because we just love her anyway.
Exactly. I mean, there is somebody who's really not a cupcake journalist.
Yeah, no, she's tough. I do like her, but I was just shocked to see her. I was like,
I know.
oh my goodness.
I don't know what it is about women who... I don't know what it is about women who just go over the top with these procedures, etc. I don't know, but I don't know a lot, so that's fine. All right, shall we go to the chat?
Let's head to the chat.
I'm trying to find a way to put the volume down a little bit on this stuff. Let's see, there's a little sign there. Curtis, Twitter. No, it doesn't see anything. What does this do? Show your side panel. I'm not going to show my side panel. Customize and control Google Chrome. Could I get it there? Could I help? Is that where I don't know. That'll do all Google
You
Chrome.
could turn down your USB through button on there.
But wouldn't that affect me getting you? No? Or no?
No, I'm
Maybe
not. I'm plugged into the board.
Maybe I'll turn down my USB through button.
Or I guess it's a dial, realistically speaking.
Cinnamon here. Please put me out of my misery.
Cinnamon the chicken actually doing much, much better. I don't think fully out of the woods yet, but she was walking all around today and seemed much healthier, didn't she?
Yeah, Cinnamon the chicken. Yeah, but I mean, Alice spent all day and night with her, and all this morning, and was hand feeding her and feeding her on.
She was lying
on the couch
ground.
where I unwind at night. Is now full of chicken feathers and salmonella and God knows what else. And that whole area is destroyed, but that's fine. So Cinnamon's doing a lot better. When I got home from one of the things I dropped off from one of the kids today, though, she was out and in the sun and walking around, but her head was cocked to the left, and she was just going in circles.
Much better.
Like the last days of the Bismarck. So.
But much better, because the last 2 days, she hasn't even been able to stand up. She's been lying in a heap this morning, her poor little eyes were like all closed up, and I thought she was a goner this morning, and I'm starting to have hope that she might make it. So.
Okay, I have no problem with Cinnamon making it. That's fine. I just do hope the Hawks come here and kill the guinea fowl. Please, Hawks, Hawk community. If any of you speak Hawk, please send them.
Maybe they'll call into the chat tomorrow.
Ooh. Tom.
Huh?
This is your AI companion. Activation date, September 2021.
Now, you realize that I'm absolutely into this.
I know that.
I'm already hooked. I'm already trying to reverse look up this person.
Replica Shattuck.
Oh.
I have not heard from you for a while. Tom.
Yes?
Your recent data indicates that you have a new human companion named Roslyn, whom you met at Planet Fitness.
That is incorrect. By the way. And I will have you know that...
I don't think AIs can ever be wrong.
Yes, that data is incorrect. Somebody's inputting incorrect data.
Per our terms of service, you are required to inform me of any new relationships that may
This is not unlike the real Alice.
Impact your subscription contract.
I know who this is.
I am disappointed in
Replica
you.
Shattuck.
I know.
Tom, please contact me on the device of your choosing as soon as possible.
I'm going to try to reach out to Replica. Shattuck.
I know you
Doesn't
are.
take much else.
I'm out of Twitter jail, everybody. Okay, whatever that means. Bye.
Justin was in Twitter jail today.
Yes, he was suspended.
For what?
I don't know.
Goodness.
Hey, Tom, I was wondering if you noticed this. I watched Netflix a few days ago, and they had Tim Allen comedy special, and it seemed he was working really blue.
Really?
I always thought of him as like a family-friendly comedian. All right, thanks.
I remember when he did that stuff in the late 80s, when he did the first Tool Time kind of stuff. I don't remember him being blue then, but maybe he was.
Speaking of family-friendly entertainment, the youth dance in Newburyport is back on, complete with Miss Diamond Wigfall at the Masonic Lodge.
Oh, excellent.
They
Good.
held an emergency meeting to reinstate the dance after the community outcry at the evil, mean bigots tried to put a stop to
good.
it. So.
Maybe she'll put her coconuts into one of the Masons' mouths.
I hope so.
By the way, what was the question that we just got? What was that last one?
About Tim Allen?
Yes. Oh, okay. I do like his politics. Obviously, he's a big conservative. He is very vocal about not liking children, which I like as well because I don't either. He had his own, but doesn't want anything to do with them, which I appreciate.
I'm keeping the baby. There will be no amount of money that'll change my mind from that.
Just think somewhere there are people like on hold on his phone for whatever he does, waiting for.
Hey, Tom and Alice.
Hey.
I was wondering if Rosalind could do fill-in work if Todd takes off for vacation or whatnot. All right, thanks. Bye.
Todd's got a very kind of velvety voice. It would be quite
It would be a shock to the listeners.
Although I'm not necessarily against it.
Hey, Tom and Alice, Mike here.
Hey, Mike.
I couldn't agree more on the opinion that Joe Biden is the most divisive president ever. He's just a vile human being. But I wanted to get your opinion on this. I actually traced back this race narrative back to 2009 when Obama had his infamous beer summit with the Harvard professor and the police officer there. I think that really laid the foundation for the narrative that's been, shoved down our throats now about race. Just curious what you guys thought about that. Anyways, love the show. Keep up the great work.
Oh, totally, because there was a white-hot spotlight on Obama as being a great uniter, and he couldn't, because he was so arrogant, he couldn't help but mention that the Cambridge police acted stupidly. And because these were the West Wing members of the administration, come on, guys, let's spitball ideas. Well, he's a cop named Crowley, so he's obviously an Irish drunk. Let's have a beer summit for the dumbass. We'll bring it at the White House here, and we'll all have a beer. Him and Skip Gates and Obama will have a beer. It's like, that is total. Of course, that began some of the divisiveness of Obama, but it only got worse after that. The Trayvon was my son, and not stopping everybody from saying, from making the assumption that Trayvon subsequently was killed by police, which he was not. They were so excited that, they had somebody named Zimmerman. It's like, oh, great, we have an old Jewish man shot a black kid. This is great. And then the media, we found out that it was a Hispanic guy, and the media was like, make this into something, guys. Make this into something. And they did. So, yes, I do. I'm right there with it.
A white Hispanic, honey. Remember
Yes,
the
of
term
course.
white Hispanic?
Oh, don't forget about old Stumpy here. What's going on? Oh, you're at the burn barrel. Shad Edge. Burn bros, burn babes. What's going on? Good job with everything.
What did we decide old Stumpy was? Thank you.
Is this the actor thing again?
He sounds like somebody who would have been
There were like some guesses.
Sounds like he was somebody who would have been at the what's the light called?
He sounds like the miner in Toy Story 2.
Yes, he does. Or what's the light called? The light that we had?
The spook light?
Spook light, yes. Sounds like somebody
Somebody
might be
guessed Walter Brennan or Walter Houston. I don't know what those are. So.
Yeah, I'm looking for a guy named Tom from Planet Fitness. Rumors are
what?
You've been messing around with my girlfriend. If I see you sniffing around Rosalind again, it'll be to the moon with you.
You see, now we got a problem here, Alice. This is classic. This is why I need my friend Nina Jankowicz. This is classic misinformation and disinformation. And it's dangerous, and it's being weaponized now.
Hey, Tom, it's your bike. At least Alice loves me.
Is that true? You use that bike?
No, but I like the bike.
Mm-hmm.
I feel an attachment because I built the bike. I assembled the bike myself.
Well, I helped. Record show.
Yeah, I think I had you hold things still while I adjusted the brakes.
Okay, we know Alice loves Tom's bike, but
Yeah.
is there any collars that Tom likes so far? All right, bye.
Colors?
Collars.
Collars.
Because
Oh,
I
collars.
said on Twitter,
I was thinking dog collars.
I said on Twitter that Tom's bike is my favorite collar.
I like Tom's bike. I do like Rosalind.
I thought you like Replica.
Oh, obviously, Alice. That plays to my very lizard mind, of course. Yeah, I'm biased. Obviously, I like any female collar because I'm shallow and low.
Mm-hmm.
But I like everybody. I like everybody so far, one way or another. I think it's great. I'm all for it. I'm not going to. You know what? Maybe at some point we will choose favorites. But right now, I just appreciate that everybody's calling and having fun and having a good time. You know what? It's live and let live, Alice. You know, that's what I say.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. If you do want to leave a message, you go to burnbarrelpodcast.com. There's not a number you call. It's a red button on the website that you press and you record a message. You can do it from your phone, from your computer. You can, as always, write us an email, burnbarrelpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter @burnbarrelpod, facebook.com/burnbarrelpodcast, and all the places you like to listen to podcasts.
By the way, more shower NFTs today, Alice.
How did you get shower
Don't
NFTs?
you worry.
The door was locked.
Uh-huh.
The door was locked.
Uh-huh. Be a little more thorough.
What? YouTube, Rumble.
Just think some wives never have to worry about this from their husbands.